Welcome to the Dyson's Effect.
A show about everyday situations, issues, and topics we talk about and give our opinions.
We may even listen to yours.
We are your hosts, Johnny,
And Teresa.
also known as Mr. and Mrs. Dyson.
Hey, we back. Back again for another good episode. This is Johnny.
And this is Teresa.
And this is another episode of the
Dyson's Effect.
So I want to start this one off a little bit different. Today I had I've been getting some mosquito bites on me too. I got mosquitoes bad. Today I had a interesting, weird encounter. We got family coming in a couple of weeks, and I went to the liquor store, and I don't drink liquor, so that's how I know this is interesting. So I'm in the liquor store looking for some wine for one of our family members that's coming into town, and as soon as you walk in this liquor store, you see the new Mary J. Blige wine, and one of the distributors came in and was like, "Hey, you looking for some wine? Why don't you try this new Mary J. Blige wine? This and this." And I was like, yeah, I see it right there. Yeah, it's the new one." And he was like, "Yeah, it's the new one. It just came out." Like, "Yeah, it just came out last year, just through a new wine company, and and it come from Italy." And I was like, "Yeah, how do you know that?" I was like, "I read a little bit." I said, "The new wine company, it comes from one of their certain kind of grapes that is comes from, because some of their other grapes are made with a different type of grape and so on and so forth." And he was like, "Yeah, how did you know that?" I was like, "I just read a little bit about it, because at first you had to order it online. Now they have it here, and they had it here for a while." And she got some two new wines, Sun Goddess, for people that want to buy it. And I was like, I read it, and I said to him, like, a little in a lower monotone. I like, I read a lot. Some people may think that's crazy. He's like, what? What do you mean? Some people may think that's crazy. He's like, it's good that you read. It's like people that read a lot of stuff. Some people don't like that. It's a lot of information. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, people are afraid. People are afraid to get out of their own box. That's why they don't read. And I was like, yeah. I said, I agree. So I got to talking about the wine, the whiskey that you like, the peanut butter whiskey is called Screwball with the peanut butter flavor. He was like, well, I can show you a different one that's a little bit cheaper than that one if you wanted to buy that, and I can also show you the other wines and alcohol that we carry. And I was like, okay, yeah. So on our way to him showing me that wine, we get to talking about reading books. Come to find out, his father is a pastor, and to supplement his income, he had to, find. Now this is a while ago. Now you can use Google, but he ended up researching and finding a lot of books, and ended up selling a lot of those books because they ended up being like special pieces of art for those books from a lot of people, especially some from Black history and everything. So we get to talk about his father, how great of a man he is. Then we get to talking about life, and he found out I'm a life coach, a fitness coach, and we just get to talking. Long story short, we are in this liquor store for about an hour and a half having conversations, and we're just having all our conversations. We were talking about you and everything, and right before we was like, man, we gotta exchange numbers, and we exchanged numbers, and I want to share what he texted, because he just texted me. And he was like, hey, Johnny, it was a pleasure meeting you today. Just wanted you to know that you and your wife have been on my mind today. Whatever the circumstances is, I am praying for you guys, and I'm going to have others join. And I I gave him a long text about it wasn't a mistake that I met him, and he just texted me back about different things that he want to do, and I hope that I'm gonna see him on the road. But I wanted to talk about this a little bit, even though this is not on our topic. But this is how God put people in your life for certain reasons. This is one of the things that I ask for every day, to continue to show me gifts and signs I'm on the right path. And it wasn't a coincidence that I met him, because I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink. And we had I got emotional in there, everything, talking about you, and it's just that we just had a long conversation. And the first time we met, and I think that I met a good friend, and I think this is a good sign that sometimes we need things to help us on our way. One of the things on our previous shows that we talked about Derek Jackson, his situation, and one of the things I said, I don't talk about him, I won't down him, because we are all on our way, whatever that road may be, whatever that journey is. But sometimes when you on your journey, you need something to help you get you to that next step. I don't know what it is. You need something that'll help you get to, oh my God, it's been rough this week. And even if you're not asking for help or asking for a sign, asking for things to get a little bit better, sometimes you get beat up so long and you get used to being beat up. And sometimes God gives you a gift, and no matter how it may come, and it's at the right time. And I met a good friend, man. Like a good friend. We had a conversation, a long, deep conversation. And he's very smart, very intellectual, thinking about running for a congressional seat. And I've been thinking about it ever since. That was just amazing how I met this person, and I don't even drink alcohol. Cause I could have just went in there, asked them for some alcohol, did they have it, and just left. But I walked around, was curious, cause I've been looking around. I was gonna order the Mary J. Blige wine, but I just decided to wait. I was also gonna order E40 Earl Stevens wines before, but I'm just gonna wait, just so I can have a lot of stuff for company that come over. So it's just amazing, how things happen. I just really met him, and it's we had deep conversations, and now I made a friend. But this is another thing, and I'm gonna get off of it. A little bit, but he has a plan for what he wants to do for the next 3 years, and people are going to back him for that. Don't you know that sometimes when we don't prepare for certain things, it's people that's making plans for the next 8 years right now, and not per se for them, it's for people that they're going to help. Think about that. I'm going to help this person in the next 5 years. He might have a congressional seat. Now, obviously, they may want something out of it. I'm not saying that. Probably is technically none of my business. But could you imagine if somebody is planning something for you for the next few years? Just think about that. Yeah, I'm gonna get my friend a job. As soon as he get this job and fix his credit right, I'm gonna help him hook up with my homeboy, help him get a house. That's a few years plan. And some might say that may take longer or maybe shorter, but it depends on the person. But I'm just saying, just see how things happen. And that's also just to see how things happen with God when God put people in your life for certain reasons. What if this man becomes whoever he becomes, and this become my friend? Right. Ain't that amazing? To me, that's amazing. I've met someone that could be some, and then push come to shove, whatever happens, even if he doesn't, I'm I met so he's. I'm just sometimes I just get blown away by certain simple small things, which I'm gonna tie it into the conversation that we're gonna have today. So today, my wife gave me this topic. It's adjacent to some of the topics that we had before, but I think it's right on time with this. Baby, what's the topic?
How do you know if he or she is into you? So how do you know if that person you're into is into you? Per se. So that is today's topic. How do you know if this person you're checking out, or you have a crush on, or you've been wanting to shoot your shot with them for a while? How do you know if they're going to, first of all, receive it, and if they have the same feelings for you? Is the topic. So,
yeah. Okay. This is what I want to say. Like, how do you know? Let's think about that. Like, how do you know if he or she is? See, this is why I say this is adjacent. When we had the conversation about should a woman approach a man? So, I think I think it would just be too hard to put a finger on it. I mean, what made you pick this topic? This is interesting.
I don't know.
Generationally, though, I mean, just think about our age. Okay, let's go back to our parents. Let's go back to our grandparents, because we do know our grandparents. So as far as our grandparents, it was significant when they was into each other. Different day and age and time. I hear stories of some older people, and they took a person out on the first date, maybe a drive-through or something, which are coming back. And the first date that they had, they might have never kissed. They had to wait like 6 dates before, and so on and so forth. Different day and age and time, right?
Right.
Different day and time. How do you have to relate? How do you have to pass messages? It wasn't cell phones. It wasn't house phones in a lot of places. It wasn't TVs in a lot of places. So for our grandparents' age group, it was different on how they socialized, and I think that's the key word. That's the key word. I just found the key word. I think the key word is how they socialized. So how they socialized was different from our grandparents' age. So when they got with each other, it was more concrete, I would say. If certain person was into this person or not. It was more kind of like, yeah, I like this person. We want on a date. Is this gonna happen? Yada yada.
Yeah. I don't know. There's like
This is a hard one, I think.
so there's this article on, what is it? I don't know. It's on Google.
Yes.
And they listed 18 clear signs that he's not into you. And it's time to say goodbye. So I guess this can go for either or, he or she. They never contact you first. So I guess if you're the one that's always reaching out, always sending that text, always calling, always making plans, and that person never does the same or show the same interest in it, like they're not like calling you or texting you or setting up meetups or setting up dates, then that could be a sign that they're not into you as you are into them.
Interesting. So, if he's not contacting you, he's not that into you?
Right. So, no, if you're always contacting them, so if you're always sending a text or picking up the call or initiating, you know what I'm saying, the conversation, or hey, let's hang out, let's make plans, are always the one that's initiating to hang out, make plans, or talk, then they may not be into you as you are into them. as into you as you are into them. Needless to say. Two, they make you wait.
They make you wait.
Yeah, so basically just not returning your calls, not returning your text messages, um, saying, well, let me see what I need to do, vice versa, if you want to have a date or something like that. Like just always putting you on the back burner, not making you a priority, basically. Maybe that means he or she may not be into you.
Okay, pause for a second. There's a book. They also made it into a movie. I think the guy name is Greg Brent or something like that. Um, Barrett, Greg Barrett. Um, there's a book that came out years ago. They actually made it into a movie. Basically, the name of the movie is and book. He's just not that into you. A different version, in my opinion, people can disagree, is the Steve Harvey book. Act like a lady, think like a man. Both of those books have great points, interesting points. Some I agree with and some I disagree with. I think that the caveat in the middle of this is, are they dating and these are the signs? Or this is signals to get his attention to date you?
They
Or
you
her? Or a little both?
well, maybe a little bit of both. I guess yeah, a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Because, I mean, that's...
Or someone that's canceling on you all the time. Hey, I can't make it. I know we had a dinner date, or or a movie date, or walk in a park date, or Netflix and chill date, or whatever date, or whatever meet up. Lunch, breakfast, dinner, and they just constantly, always, there's always a reason why they can't make it, and they're always canceling on you. That could be a sign that that person's not into you as well. Because if you are clearly into someone and you're feeling them like they feeling you, you gonna make time.
You feeling me right now?
Not with that yellow shirt.
Hold on. This is where I drop lines.
So yeah.
Now, you even talk about my yellow shirt. Tell the people that may not be watching this on YouTube what kind of shirt I got. The Randy Macho Man Randy Savage. I got on Macho Man shirt so people can see. This is the Macho
They don't
Man.
need to see it. It's okay.
Okay, now you're gonna make me go buy 40 of these and wear them in public. I'm gonna wear these with some dress shoes or some cowboy boots.
By yourself.
No, I'm gonna hold hands with you, and you're gonna try to run. I'm gonna grab your hand too, and I'm gonna say, "Ma'am."
I'll be like he escaped from his home.
No, okay. So now I'm finna get the Ultimate Warrior shirt, Hulk Hogan shirt, Coco Beware. I might even get the Rock shirt. You don't like this shirt, but you don't like my shirt, though.
That's alright.
But I don't know, man. I think these are rough. So if he texting you, if he not getting back, okay. In any circumstance, if y'all haven't went on a date, I think hypothetically, I'm gonna play devil's advocate with a lot of these, just for the thrill of it. How do people know that they into somebody, bro? In the beginning stage, if we never went on a date.
It could be their conversation. It could be energy felt. It could be, the vibes or whatever they say. Um, it could just be, if you click with this person on the first time, your first date or your first over the phone conversation, like something's gonna click for you to know off top. In most cases, like, yeah, I could talk to this person, or yeah, I could see my person maybe dating this person, or I think off top if it's somebody that you're going to like or somebody you may have, similar, um,
A connection with.
yeah, connections with and things like that. So I think you pretty much knows off top if that's somebody you're gonna be vibing with.
Well, that's why a good part of that, the conversation that I had with my new friend today, Steve, that was organic, right? So if you meet someone that you're into and that, you know, hey, we just clicked. Like, I just met this girl or a man or what have you, this new significant other, you met this new person and you guys just hit it off the first time you meet. Just conversations, agree on everything, so on and so forth. But they turn around and do these things. Is that the thing that I think that's the thing that's confusing to a lot of people? Because I know I just listened to this one song and by Chicago BJ the Chicago Kid, and he talked about it in another instance. Basically, like certain dudes, they'll sit up with a girl all day and talk to her, have deep conversations, or mess around with her, whatever. And but they ain't finna fall in love. They scared of that. They rather go have a shootout than fall in love. Cause that falling in love is they scared to fall in love. That's too much vulnerability. So I don't know, man. I just think it's different. What's the third one? That two. What's the third
Um, let's see. It was no, that was he cancels repeatedly. The fourth one, he blows hot and cold.
one? Elaborate on it.
One minute you're interested in what I got going on and interested in hooking up. The next minute you're blowing me off. It's the same as canceling, basically. Like,
Repetitive.
yeah, that's the same.
What's the next one?
You're always that's the same. We talked about that. You're always the one making plans. That's just like the number one. You're always reaching out. You're always making contact.
And the other person not reaching out and everything.
Right. He's a flirt.
Ooh, that's separate though. That's different. What if he's a flirt, but that's how y'all met?
Right. That's what
Right?
that's what it's saying. Like he charmed you with his flirting skills, etc. But
Yeah, that's how y'all met.
yeah.
So if you met him as a flirt, it's a certain friend that we used to work with, and she wasn't a flirt. She was a social butterfly, and some people can categorize that as the same, right, wrong, and indifferent. But she wasn't a flirt. She just liked to socialize and talk to everybody. Some men don't like that. It rubs them the wrong way. They are very
Social butterflies.
yeah, like they'll go over this person and say, "Hey, how you doing?" This and that. Then they'll go to this person, especially if they're in a big room. They'll work the room, which is goes with their personality. So some men don't like that. Some men might take that as flirting, because when they do it in anyone's face. You know, they real candid. They open. They can have a conversation with anyone. They can socialize. So some men take that as flirting. That's why I say that. Some men take social butterflies as flirting. So what if you met your significant other because they was a social butterfly? That's how y'all met. Like, how do you expect them to stop that now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you met them like that,
Right.
like how, like I don't, cause I wouldn't say men. I wouldn't just say men, but I know men are more possessive. But like, what if women see that their husband has to work the room, for an event, and he has to, and it turned him to a, because some people are naturally extroverts, and they could just have a conversation with anybody. And just imagine if you had to go have these conversations, and they have to, they might throw some women off. Some women can get jealous too, right? Are you the jealous type? You won't. What if I was a social butterfly?
You is.
Am I?
You talk to a guy at the liquor store for an hour and a half.
Okay. But then I could. Some people. I could. I'm also like an introvert or something.
Me, I wouldn't have even had a conversation with him.
Really?
I'd have just came in and got what I needed and left.
So I'm a social butterfly now. Okay. A yellow butterfly. Okay. All right.
He's never shown a shred of jealousy. I don't
Wrong.
know if that,
Wrong.
yeah, that doesn't mean
I
no
ain't gonna
one's
tell
not
you
into
wrong
you.
nobody.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No.
He breadcrumbs you.
What is that? Oh, leave
Breadcrumbing is when a person doesn't really like you but still wants to have someone around for moments when they need company. So they basically putting you on the back burner.
Yeah, this is language and slang for different type of people. I wonder what year this article came out in. Okay.
You don't get his full attention. So when you're together, he's always one eye on his phone or is looking over his shoulder at the pretty waitress.
That's just wrong.
Yeah, that's just being disrespectful. I don't know if that. You haven't met each other's friends.
That don't mean anything.
Yeah, because if you're new into that relationship, then
Well, not just that. People socialize different. Today or the other day, like, Lil Johnny, he texted and we in the house together. Just come tell us. Like, we socialize different. We talk to each other different. So I wouldn't agree with that, even though it could be wrong, but it depends on the language that you guys speak. So no, I disagree with that. And then what generation is that too?
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what generation is it? For our generation, maybe. Like, but I don't know. No.
You can't think of any nice things he's done for you.
What if y'all just met?
Yeah, but that's yeah.
No.
I guess that's kind of hard. I mean,
It might.
you shouldn't want to keep pursuing someone that hasn't done anything nice for you anyway. So that's just a little common sense.
What if we met in March, and the closest holiday is what, 4th of July. Like, what is nice for someone? Like, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah,
took you to dinner.
right.
Yeah.
You don't really know anything about him.
Who is these people that the people are meeting? You gonna meet somebody you don't know nothing about?
Right. He hasn't opened up to you. That's not a good sign. His conversation is superficial, and you're yet to see any cracks in his armor.
Well, okay. I get it. These are symptoms and possible signs, but it's not concrete. It's people that don't open up to people that are in relationships. They're in marriages.
Right, and he really doesn't know anything about you, meaning he don't ask you questions about you and what you have going on. That could be possibly though. I could see where that could lead into him not or she not being into you. Because if you're not interested in me or what I got going on or what I, do or have. It's just like, what are we doing? Yeah. What is the conversation? What conversation are we having?
Yes.
Especially in the beginning. The beginning stages is to get to know me stage. I need to know, you got kids, you married, you this, you that, this and that.
So let's be honest here.
I don't think people ask questions like that anymore.
That's what I was going to say.
I think they just assume. And then when it comes out to he has kids or he could be married, then they like, you didn't tell me, and that person is like, you didn't ask. So you have to ask everything nowadays.
Well,
they ain't gonna tell you.
And okay, go to the next one. I'm gonna say
ask for dating advice about other women.
Who she talk to?
Right. So if you got your eye on somebody and you call yourself liking this person and you guys are dating and you did this and you did that and they come up to you and ask you about old girl down the street, you just know that is a clear sign they are not into you.
But you know how men and women get pushed into the friend zone and stuff. We talked about that before. Like when when people get pushed into the friend zone, sometimes that's the
Right.
thing too.
So it means he's not into you. He
Yeah,
put you in the
but
friend zone.
yeah, but sometimes when people get pushed into the friend zone, you didn't express how you feel about them. Like I think my opinion when people get pushed to the friend zone and you like this friend, if you haven't expressed your feelings, for one, you might have some low self-esteem or insecurities issues that you're battling with on why you holding it all in or quote unquote maybe don't want to ruin the friendship and all that stuff. You can go find another friend. But I think that's an indication of that. And I also think that when when these things happen, who are these men and women that had these type of relationships with these people? Like you know how people be hanging on and on to another relationship, and certain friends and family members had these relationships. You was like, why is you getting feelings at home? Y'all was just booty calls not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what happened with these booty calls is, or what happened with these situationships, or what happened with these friends with benefits is, feelings get involved. And when one person get feelings and the other one don't, that's when the argument starts. So then one person get feelings then, because you only can mess around for so long. Like, you can't have no booty call for like 2 years. Or even, I'll even argue and say, it shouldn't be a year. Because holidays is going by, and I'm like, somebody gonna get feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I see it happen. So with that being said, when people have these feelings, some of these traits show. And I've seen it too many times with men or women. They be like, but we discussed this already. You know we ain't together. You know what this is about. Well, or they act, why, like, he don't ever get jealous. Because I'm basically leading to my point, but okay, go to the next one. I'm going to say.
Yeah, he told you that he's not looking for a relationship. That doesn't mean someone's not into you. That just means they put it out there they don't want a relationship. So, in opposed to you trying to get in a relationship that they don't want, they was just upfront with you. So I don't agree with that. Your relationship is pretty much entirely based on sex.
Booty calls, we just talked about.
Well, you a booty call. I mean, you know if you a booty call because that's all you're gonna do. You're gonna meet up at night. You're gonna have sex, and whoever his house is not, you're gonna leave. That's a booty call.
Have you ever been a booty call?
No,
Have you ever wanted me to call your booty?
no. You couldn't turn. You couldn't turn to him if you needed help. You wouldn't feel comfortable. That doesn't make sense. I don't know who wrote this article, but it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And you just know it. Sometimes deep down inside, you know that someone is not into you.
Yeah, you do. So, let's correlate this to our parents. Our parents socialize differently, especially where we're from. So there's different things that was going on, different things that was in the city of Benton Harbor, Michigan, where different jobs, migration from people of the South, like my family, my father's family is from St. Louis. My mother's father's family is from Arkansas, I would say. So, do you think that our age group does a lot of this stuff apply, and why?
Do what stuff
That
about
list, that wonderful, beautiful list that you found and read about.
for our age group?
Yeah.
No, because I mean, for our age group, we should be mature enough to know if we're going to be in a relationship, if after a couple conversations, if this someone you're going to vibe with or even have a connection with. So it shouldn't be you trying to figure out if this person is into you if you're in your 40s. Like,
Mm.
they should be upfront with you. Like, I like you, but, just what do you have to lose? You should want to be upfront with someone in opposed to hurting their feelings later on down the line. So just be upfront with that person, in opposed to waiting till months go and they're developing feelings for you and feel like the connection is getting more and more, but you never had that feeling. So it's better to just be upfront, especially if you're in your 40s. Don't string nobody along in your 40s on something that you are not even interested in doing.
We do know people that are in their 40s and older that still play games. And understandably so, there are also people that are 40s and over that still don't know what they want in a relationship. There are people that are 40 and over that still play games, don't know what they want, are confused. But with that being said, they are still out here having relations with these people. That's the interesting thing. Not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, but that's interesting that people can go out and be with somebody and you really don't know what you want in a relationship. Now it's easy to say somebody that want to be in a relationship, but do you really know what you want in a relationship? Like, just think about that for a minute. Do you really know what you want in a relationship? Not the things that you didn't have in a relationship now you want in this relationship. Not the things that you think you want. Just the things that you know that will make a relationship work. Things that you figured out. Did you work on yourself from the past relationship? Did you build yourself up? Did you take away certain issues or not to see what worked and what didn't work? Did you, for some, did you get counseling for this? Did you get coaching for it? Was it something that you can dig yourself out of before you move to the next relationship? So, I don't know. It's just
So you'll know if someone's into you or not. It's not gonna be rocket science to figure it out. You shoot your shot. If it don't go in, then you know they ain't into you.
That's it.
Yep.
You think it's that simple?
Yep.
Is that what is it, black and white, or white and black?
You know when somebody's not into you. Now, if you ignore the signs, then that's on you. But if they're clearly presenting the signs to you and you just ignore them, then you kind of you're kind of just setting yourself up for that disappointment or that heartbreak or heartache, or whatever. But they told you who they were, you just ignored it, or they showed you they wasn't interested in you, you just ignored it.
Give me a clear sign that this person is into you. Give me an example of a clear sign. Give me an example of a sign that someone is into you.
They're vibing with you. They're making plans with you. They want to see you. They want to go out with you. They want to spend time with you. They want to know who you are. They want to know what you do for a living, what you like to eat, things like that.
And that's a lot of this is in the beginning process.
Yeah.
So if you guys make it to the first date.
But all that may not happen on the first date if that person's not vibing with you. They might just be there to eat and leave. They ain't gonna care what you like and what you doing and what you do for a living and where you work. They ain't gonna care about none of that because they know off top you somebody that they not vibing with. So why do they need to get to know you?
This is a little bit much because in my opinion, speaking to a lot of my friends, some of my friends, family members, they are just now settling down over certain issues. I think it is so much miscommunication going on, like we said before. I think so many people are not telling the truth about whatever they're going through. I think that so many people are just, I don't know. It's just they pe- people are hiding their feelings. So I think today that it's I don't know. I don't know if you know when someone is into you. I don't know. And then I'm going to use my own words against me for when we talked about should a woman approach a man, and we disagreed on that, and I said yes, a woman should because, you know, I don't know if you if a woman is really into me or not. Sometimes I might not be paying attention, whatever the situation may be, hypothetically. So let's just think if she could take that as I'm not into her, when really my mind is somewhere else because I have kids, businesses to run, certain things that I'm trying to do, I'm into, and if she doesn't catch my attention, I could be really into her. Just I got a lot of stuff going on, probably. So with that being said, I just think we're at a different day and age and time to even know what that even looks like. It's different because, like I said, our kids communicate differently. Like, our, they just communicate differently. Like, they live on social media. So it's too hard to dictate if on what their generation is or isn't based on the regular foundation of things for our grandparents, for our parents, or for our generation on how we socialize. Remember when you used to have to call somebody? And you have to call and see, and if believe it or not, if they wasn't there to pick up that call, there's no way of getting back in contact with them. So if you had to do a house call to somebody's house, they're not at that house. You just missed the call. Somebody could just tell you they called. You know, now, as odd as it may seem, and everybody has a phone, so you know you can call them at any moment. You want to hear something crazy? And cause me and my cousin Willie was the same way. I didn't want a phone at first because I didn't want people to get in contact with me anytime they wanted to. Like, just think about that. If you have a phone, I should be able to get in contact with you every day, all day, no matter what you got going on. Now, you can say, well, I ain't got to answer my phone. Yeah, you ain't got to answer your phone, but just think about that. Like, when we first got the first iPhone, you know, I had some phone. I think it was the Virgin mobile phone. I didn't want a phone because I didn't want people just calling me out the blue. Like, I might be at work, and you can put it on. This before it was a silent mode and all that stuff too. That was real prevalent. But just think, when you got a phone, everybody, not just friends and family, anybody, businesses, salespeople, these algorithms again can get in contact with you anytime they want to. Like, so that wasn't available for our parents, for our grandparents. So I just think it's different now, and I don't know the answer. I don't know if someone is into someone nowadays because people socialize different, and there is so much miscommunication. There is so much hidden agendas. There is so much different things people are not telling the person that they want to be with. And I think that it's a different day and age and time on how can we, if we can, set a barometer on what we are and what we need to be when it comes to relationships.
Is that it?
Yeah. Astounding. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes. So, apparently, this is the humdinger here. Ready to go to bed?
Yep.
So tell these people why I'm not into you right now because you're ready to go to bed.
I don't care.
Well, I'm not into you. Okay? So, how do they get in contact with you?
Maybe Instagram.
Girl.
The Dyson's effect.
tell you something. The I am his Mrs. Dyson on Instagram, Facebook. Our email address is.
Oh, you want me to say it?
Yes, there you go. Come on.
The Dyson's Effect at hotmail.com.
There you go. And our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter,
The Dyson's Effect
podcast. On all those social media. Mine is Your Benevolent Coach on Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter is Benevolent Coach. Get in contact with us. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Like, comment, share all this good information. If you have anything you want to let us know, make sure you email us. You know, get in contact with us. Content that we have, things that we're trying to redo and rebuild. We want to get back in contact with all of our great listeners on to some other things that we're trying to do. And, as always, the incomparable, the amazing, most beautiful woman here. This is Johnny.
This is Teresa.
And this is another episode of The
Dyson's Effect.
Peace.
Peace.
Love.